welcome back. Yes, and tomorrow is preliminary final day, and that's a great day. I love preliminary final days, obviously, because it's another cutthroat game. But of course, to get to the preliminary final, we had a couple of big games on last Saturday and Sunday at the Gordon Tafe Oval. On the Saturday was a battle between the two sides that have dominated the competition all year. The Bannockburn Tigers, the Inverleigh Hawks. Mitch and Bannockburn had a win and went straight through to the granny.
Yeah, they certainly did, Dick. They were very impressive, Bannockburn. They really never give Inverleigh a sniff. They started well and continued on, and in all honesty, and I don't say this lightly, they made Bannockburn look second rate, and certainly will go into the grand final chock full of confidence, mate. You know, I don't know whether Inverleigh can allow no pressure. There didn't appear to be any body pressure on Bannockburn. I think they exploited their skills, and on a windy day, it was a difficult day for footy, and they really, Milburn controlled the back line and then went forward. I don't know whether you can let him do that. They had a good game plan. They ran wide, they ran hard, and really Inverleigh battled hard to get back into the game in the third quarter and had 3 or 4 vital shots at goal and really didn't convert and they sort of shot themselves in the foot a little bit, but uncharacteristically early in the first quarter, and it was highlighted in the quarter time address by Mark McDowell. Inverleigh turned the ball over several times that really cost them badly, and Bannockburn certainly go into the grand final as favourites. They've got the week's rest. Inverleigh will have to regroup for Saturday. They've got a couple of injury concerns, but they'll have to regroup, and we know they will, Dick. They're a quality side, and we know that they'll come back and very well coached, and they've been there before. But it would be disappointing after last year's performance if they happen to go out in straight sets. It would be really disappointing. They've certainly recruited to play on St Albans, and
they've come into the finals with 1 loss.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right, and that was only by a point.
We all know the football's
2
a funny
points.
game.
Yeah. So look, they haven't put the cue on the rack yet, but Bannockburn were very, very impressive on Saturday.
Yeah, Alex, there's no doubt that second quarter killed Inverleigh. It was an 8-goal second quarter to the Tigers, and I noticed that Paul Carson's been a bit quiet as well.
Well, yeah, he kicked the opening goal 2 weeks in a row, and from that point onwards, Bannockburn's back 6 just shut him down. I was speaking with Mitch on Whitley Medal night, and we both agree Bannockburn's best 6. They have the best, in the home and away season, the best record out of all 34 teams in this region. And the fact of the matter is, now Milburn can, as we said, track forward because he knows Lincoln Peters can do the job down back. Chris Reek, Ben Cole, who we also mentioned should have been in the team of the year, and didn't that team get a lot of mention? But we'll talk about that later in the program. Bannockburn's back 6. They made Inverleigh the highest scoring side in the competition, held them to 1 goal 6 in the second half.
That's right.
So you can tell they've drilled. Darren Milburn's not only got his AFL experience from Geelong, he's just come from an assistant role at the Adelaide Crows for 4 years. So he's up to date with 2015 AFL footy, bringing it in to 2016 GDFL footy. And, regardless who wins tomorrow, it's going to take a lot to bring down Bannockburn, especially when you still have to put Jack Broman back in the side.
Yeah, of course, Bannockburn going into their first grand final since 2006, and a very prominent Bannockburn name in the side, Teichmann.
Yeah.
Of course, you think about 10 years ago, the other massive man, Teichmann, was in the side, and he was a dominant force in football, and young Teichmann's living up to that standard as well. So
he's having a good year, Matty.
You never know. And
I think he won their best and fairest, didn't
he? Yeah, he did.
Yeah, great effort indeed, no doubt about that. Well, that's good. We've got Bannockburn Tigers into the granny, so at least we've got one different side to what we've experienced the last 5 or 6 years. But, of course, the other game was on Sunday, and the Belpost Hill Panthers, who have dominated our competition over that last 6 or 7 years, they took on the Tommy Tigers. And, we said a couple of weeks ago that Belpost Hill look as if they're just starting to flex their muscles and get into a little business end of the season now. They know what finals are all about, Alex, and, they looked a bit awesome, I think, on Sunday.
Oh, they sure did. Stuffer, we heard him talk before.
We didn't do Stuffer again, did we?
Yeah. Oh, we've also had Tony Dozen on the show as well.
Right. What club's he from?
Belpost Hill. I think this is a Belpost Hill show, Dick.
Well, we've never been at Thompson North.
No, we certainly haven't.
You and I have been unbiased all year.
All year.
All year.
I think I picked Belpost Hill on Saturday, didn't I? originally, but I changed my mind.
Yeah. But Stuffert mentioned prior to the match on that Tuesday night, they all had a bonding session.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what that means.
What does that mean?
I was going to ask you guys. You're
I know
a lot
I
wiser.
know what our bonding sessions used to be like, but I can't mention it on air. But
Sunday afternoon around the barrel.
that's it. It's a bit late to be bonding now, wasn't
Whether
it?
they did the Malcolm Blight smoke the peace pipe around before the final, I don't know what they did, but you know what? It worked because Thompson, while they did have a few winners individually, I counted Brent McLeod in a losing side. He had 32 disposals.
It's not all about this is how you.
It's not about the individuals.
It's not all about
John?
disposals. It's not all about disposals. I get a little bit miffed when I see someone having all these people having disposal after disposal. And I'm not knocking those two blokes. They're both in Thompson's better players, but we highlight disposals in today's game. Disposals, a lot of players get a lot of disposals, Alex. Like you look at Dustin Martin in the AFL. He gets a lot of disposals, but a lot of them are pretty cheap and ordinary disposals. It's not all about disposals. You talk about those two blokes. The bloke I reckon was Thompson's best was Chris Scott.
Well, I was just going to lead.
And he probably wouldn't have had any disposals
because of his role on David Holstein. Now, as I was going to say,
Sorry for jumping in.
No, it's all good. This just highlights this Exhibit A, but going to Exhibit B. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, Thompson had the ball winners, but they sacrificed Chris Scott, who I believed was probably in Thompson's best two players in the elimination final. He had the job to shut down Holstein, did a terrific job, but I can't help but wonder if Scott just focused on winning more of the ball in the stoppages in the opening term, maybe Belpost wouldn't have kicked 7 of the first 8 goals.
Oh, Belpost still started, mate.
Yeah.
The way they started, there was a number of thoughts that Thompson could have, isolated Brent and Jackson McLeod down forward and pushed everyone else out, or they could have pushed back behind the ball. They could have done all of those sort of things. But the reality to it was they didn't get their hands on the ball early. Yep. Belpost Hill certainly dominated the game from day one, and that's been Thompson's strength against Belpost Hill. They obviously they did their homework, as Stuffer said. They did their homework. I don't know about a bonding session. Most of those blokes have played a lot of footy together, and that's fine if that's what they feel they need. That's fantastic. But they were just too good, mate. That's just the bottom line. They came out. They're the consummate professionals. They played the game the way they always play it, and they didn't take their foot off the accelerator and won by 52 points, basically with a leg in the air.
And what an amazing turnaround footy is. And we say it's a funny game, knock sometimes. 106-point winners last week, 52-point losers this week. Yeah. It's a funny game, football. I would stop laughing. All right, we're going to take a short break, and we'll have a lot of those magnificent Mick Larkin snapshots, ka-ching, 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 and then we'll come back and talk about all the action on the big preliminary final day out at the St Albans Reserve. Back after this.
We come together, the best from all the league.